Hey everyone, welcome back to Howtechs. Today we have an iPhone XS Max, and we'll show you how to insert and remove SIM cards. As you can see, we have two SIM cards, and this is the Hong Kong edition of the phone with the dual SIM tray. So we'll show you really quickly how to insert and remove cards from there. So you probably should shut your phone down, but it actually works if you don't. So I'm going to just take the SIM removal tool that you can get with your phone or from an old phone, or you can use a paper clip, and just find the small hole here on the side with the SIM tray, and you want to push in gently and firmly. You'll see the tray pop out, and so you want to just grab it with your finger and thumb and pull it out. And you can see here that there actually are two trays, one on the top of this piece and one on the bottom of this piece. And so in this case, the notch from the SIM card is here on the bottom right, and there's also a very small notch here on the bottom right as well. If you guys can see that. There's also kind of a spring loading thing here to keep this one locked in place, so that when you have it inserting into the phone like this, that the card doesn't fall out. So let's just quickly show you that. So I have two nano SIMs here, and so I'm going to put in the bottom one first, the one with that spring, and you want to put it with the notch on the bottom right. And this one you kind of put in nose first, slide it in, and then push forward against the spring, and the bottom will kind of catch into that slot, and now it's actually pretty stationary. It's not going to fall out. And you should note also that the contacts are facing outwards, because you're going to put one on the top as well, and that one will also face outwards. In this case, the notch is also on the bottom right. And so this one, if you push it in, it may actually stay in, or it might fall out. Depends on the card, depends on how big it is. So definitely the bottom one should be locked in. As long as you keep this one upright, you should be fine. So now with those two cards in there, you want to gently, very carefully slide it back into the phone. And if it gets a little stuck, you can wiggle it gently, not too much. And you want to just push it in till it locks. And you should note that this is a waterproof phone, so there is a small rubber seal on here. You want to make sure that that doesn't get snagged. And so just carefully push it all the way in, and you want to make sure that it's sealed all the way, so it should be very smooth here. You should hardly feel there's even a tray there. So if it's all the way in flush, then you know that the seal is hopefully properly seated. And so now if you look on the phone, you can see actually the two SIMs, and it found one, and it should find the other one shortly. And by default, the top one is the one that uses the data plan. So you should see not just the P is for primary, and then the network, and then this would be the data, whether it's LTE or whatever. Right now it's showing Edge for some reason, but it should show at least 3G eventually. And then here's our second one, and you can actually set in the settings which one will by default do the data plan. There we go, LTE. So that's how you insert it, and it will automatically recognize it. I'm going to do a whole separate video showing you all the different kind of dual SIM settings on the phone. So definitely check that one out. I'll try to put a link up here in the corner, or check at the end of the video. And now let's show you how to remove it. So again, let's turn the screen off, just for, not really for safety, but just so that it's not distracting you. And we can see now, here's our tray again. You want to use the same tool and push it in ever so gently but firmly till it pops out. And you don't want to force it too much, but it's not super easy to do. So now you can see no SIM card installed. It should be SIM cards. But now we can take it out, and the first one drops out, and now the second one you can just poke with your finger. There's also one more thing that we want to share. You can get in a situation where your SIM card, maybe especially if it's one that you've cut up yourself, fits super snugly into the top tray, and of course the other one is kind of spring-loaded, locked into there, to the point where neither of them will fall out just from gravity. And so in this case, the question is, how do you get them out of the tray? The best thing we found so far is just to use your fingernail and go on the bottom one, the one with the spring, and try to basically force it down and pop it out, and then you can kind of get it out. But it takes a little bit of struggling. If you have kind of big fingers, or you don't have a good thumbnail, you might have to use like the SIM removal tool or something like that. But basically, you can do that and then just pop the other one out with your finger through the hole. So once you're done, you want to make sure that you put your SIM tray back into the phone so that it's watertight. So again, you want the hole kind of facing to the bottom of the phone, and just slide this guy in and just make sure that it is seated properly and smooth. And that is how you insert and remove a SIM card or SIM cards from an iPhone XS and XS Max. Okay, thank you very much. Definitely check out our other videos here on Howtechs and consider subscribing. See you later. Bye. Today we have an iPhone XS Max. I'm going to show you how to insert and remove SIM cards. As you can see, we have two SIM cards, and this is the Hong Kong edition of the phone.